All right, we are live. Hello, Corbin. Hello, everyone. Welcome in to our Friday show. And if you're watching on replay, thanks so much. We're glad you're here, whatever day you're watching this. And we are so excited for the show today, which is, of course, the Sagittarius Full Moon show, as we have that coming up next week. Before we get into it, of course, welcome to the chat, Britt Merritt. So good to see you. And yes, thank you, Corbin, for popping that in. 200 subs. We made it. Super excited whenever I get to one of these milestones. Super fun. So thank you, everyone, for subscribing and for following along and for supporting me. It does mean a lot. So thanks, y'all. All right, before we get into it, let me pull up my website here. Just reminding you guys that I've got my bookings over here, plenty of information about my services. If you go on over to my bookings, you'll see that I've done a little bit of slight maintenance on my offerings, and we'll have a little bit more coming soon. I just finished the most wonderful training this last weekend, and it's really inspired me to bring some new stuff to my business and to my service, my practices, and I'm excited to bring that to you guys. Down here at the bottom, you'll see the tickets for my group workshop, which I will pull up the graphic here. Reminding you guys, this is coming up on June 22nd, 6 p.m. Central Time, $22 to join me on Zoom Live. That's a Sunday evening, so hopefully that works for a majority of you folks, and I'm excited to see everyone there. It's going to be a really fun workshop diving into past lives and helping you bring some clarity into your present through that experience. And then quickly here, wanted to show you guys my show next week too. This one is on locating your future property, your future home. And I've learned some new stuff. I've experienced it myself. And so I have some fun stories to bring of my own experiences, some of my client experiences, searching for their dream home through hypnosis methods. So that's going to be a fun show. And I hope you all join me next week. All right, without further ado, let me pass the mic over to you, Corbin, so you can introduce yourself for anyone who isn't familiar with you, and we'll get into it.
I love this jump into your dream home. It reminds me of like a new age HGTV show where,
Oh my gosh.
you use hypnosis and woo techniques to figure out, and tap into your future. That would make great television.
Right.
But yeah, hey, Corbin Collins, I'm here as, to give the astrology perspective. A lot of my background is in, first studying Western and evolutionary traditions. For the last couple of years, I've really been digging into more ancient techniques and the Hellenistic tradition. Like a lot of folks, though, I kind of blend all that together and have, just kind of a mix in my own unique perspective, taking the best from everything. Excited to talk about the Sagi moon. This is another pretty good lunation cycle that we have. The positive astrology continues for the next bit here. So yeah, I'll be excited to blab about that in a bit here.
Of course, before we get into all of the astrology, the ritual we're going to share with you and the activation, want to remind you, of course, please make sure you like this video and share it with someone who may benefit from the info as we move into the energies of this full moon. And of course, subscribe if you are not subscribed already, because you don't want to miss future content. We do this show every other week on the new moons and the full moons, or I should say the Friday before the new moon and the full moon. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss our future episodes, as well as all the other content that I provide for you guys on the channel here. All right. And of course, too, let us know in the comments or in the live chat what you're working with this full moon, what you're feeling coming up, maybe what you're releasing or completing. And especially as we get into kind of the topics here and the themes of this moon, share with us what you're working with. We always love to hear. All right. And we've got some lovely soul family joining in the chat. Stephanie, hello, saw you pop in. We have Emma joining in the chat too. Feels like a very different full moon, right? It definitely does. Different energies for sure, and we'll get into all of that. The one and only Solrita joining us on Facebook, listening later. going on some time off. So enjoy your time, Soul,
Mhm.
and your vacation in the tropics. I'm so excited to hear about your time up there. And thanks for popping in and saying hello. We've got Polly Hadadali popping in. Newbie here to you guys. Hope I've not missed much. Not at all. We are just getting started with the show today. And of course, you
Welcome
can
on
always
in.
go back and watch our other shows too if you want some of those activations or any of that information too. All right.
Oh, it looks like Polly is a Sag. Love
Ooh,
that. There we go.
nice, nice.
We love the Sag energy over here. Both myself and Jake, we have lots of Sagittarius energy in our families, moms, sisters. There's a lot of Sag in both of our families.
Absolutely. Oh, and Britt saying dream home is a world that resonates very much for me. A word that resonates very much for me since I want to build my dream home, right? And sometimes that's what we can tap into is seeing that vision completed and understanding that. So make sure you tune into next week's show, Britt, because I think you'll enjoy it for sure. All right. Well, without further ado, then I think you're going to pull up our crystal spotlight for the week and start to talk to you guys about what we're feeling with this full moon. So
Mhm.
first, definitely stay tuned for our ritual that we'll be sharing with you guys in a bit. This is a take-home ritual that you guys can work with closer to this full moon, and we've worked Shungite into our steps for you. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be super cool. Before we dive into the slides, though, I should have left us up because I wanted to show you guys our Shungite specimens. So this one is a really fun one with pyrite, as you can see, embedded in it. And it's more of the raw state. Obviously, you wouldn't want to polish that too much. It would all flake away. But this one's a really fun one that Corbin got for me a while ago. And as you saw, his little point there. What shape was it?
It's octagonal, which I think is really cool. So there's 8 sides to this tower or point. So it's really cool. We got this one actually rather recently.
Shungite's one of those that we don't have a lot of it, but we are slowly gathering more because it's such a fun one. I actually just ordered little 3D Merkaba pendants from Ascension Organites. Some of you in the chat might know Ascension Organites. Carla, she's wonderful. And I ordered some of her little pendants for us. So those are coming soon, I'm sure. But I was surprised we didn't have Shungite pendants already, but can't have all the crystals. You can certainly try though.
Yeah, so just as a reminder, for each full moon or new moon, Jake and I intuitively select a crystal to help you for those 2 weeks. And yeah, the deeper we kind of got in for the Sagittarius full moon, the more that this really became a clear, excellent choice for this season. So some of the things that we like about Shungite and why it's great for the next couple of weeks here and working with it in any of your energetic work is it's really amazing. Well, it's not really a crystal; it's more of like a carbon-based rock of sorts. But the energetic protection element that comes from Shungite, it's one of probably the most impactful stones to protect you on an energetic level. There's a lot from the EMF side of things that a lot of folks are using Shungite to protect themselves for.
I've seen Carla has the little stickers that you put on the back of your phone. I would love one of those. They're super fun. Let's see. You didn't mention Russia yet, right?
No, you can do the background.
Yeah. So one of the fun bits is figuring out where these stones come from and where they've been sourced around the world. And Shungite, I guess, primarily and was first discovered in Western Russia, in a town called Shunga. And so they found it there. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm a little distracted because we got fireworks going off outside. But found in Russia, and I guess it was Peter the Great who had his soldiers carry Shungite to purify water on the go. So he was one who was working with that. I mean, way back when. And they found it. I think they found it in a couple other places around the world, but this is the primary and from what I understand, the highest concentration of the carbon in it. So it's called the elite Shungite. Pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, I guess if you find shungite that's sourced from other places that isn't Russia, it'll probably have like a lower concentration of the carbon material. And so the effects of it are a little bit lessened. So yeah, you really do want to find it from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, water and air purification. This stone is great for helping with that. We found a few studies that folks had done independently that showed that shungite in water has the ability to kind of neutralize the pH of the water, whether it was something that was too acidic or too basic. Shungite in that water had the ability to kind of bring it back to more of a neutral state, which can be really beneficial for whoever is drinking it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we did mention the EMF protection. I think this is one of the primary things that people go to Shungite for, and it has that EMF protection because it's electroconductive, and not all stones, not all crystals are, obviously. And beyond that, the electromagnetic properties of this stone Uh, are really great for amplifying your energy work. So whether that's healing, or if you're working with it during meditation, putting it on your altar, or like using it in magic work, definitely a great stone to boost your power and amplify and kind of direct your energy within whatever you're working with.
There's this like grounding quality that comes from shungite that I think really aligns with Sagittarius in this season, from the sense that the archetype for Sagittarius with the archer, we have the the centaur, and the hooves are on the ground, but the archer is aiming the arrow up high into the sky towards the dreams, towards the stars. And so there's this idea inside of Sagittarius about a need to be very grounded while you are reaching for the beyond. And so shungite can really help to kind of keep the hooves on the ground while we have our eyes perhaps up in the sky.
And it's so great that we picked this stone, because one of the card pulls that I did for this upcoming week, one of my one card shorts, the grounding energy came up, and it was very much that message of make sure you're prioritizing and focusing on the grounding as well, even though there's all this fire and air that's pulling you up and kind of swirling you around. It's that importance of balance, and that you can be so much more effective when you do have that uh, grounding balance, or that grounding counterweight to all of that air and fire energy.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And it can just really keep you grounded in your truth.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you so much, Emma. Absolutely. Subscribe, hit that notification, and make sure you like the video as well. It does help. And oh, Britt Merritt, so glad to hear that. After 4 weeks with stiffness and pain in my knee, so lucky to receive the X39 patches from LifeWave, and they arrived on Portal Day 6/6. I'm so glad to hear, and I hope those help out with your pain. Britt Merritt will definitely be thinking of you and sending you healing. All right. Last and definitely not least, the Shungite is one that is definitely a grounding stone, and so very much a root chakra association there. But we found out during our research that Shungite is very much associated with all of the chakras, and it can actually be used to activate all of your chakras as well. And I think that has to do with that electromagnetic component and the ways that it can work with your entire energy body in that way.
Hmm.
But pretty cool stuff.
Hmm. And if you don't have shungite at home, we did pick a couple other good alternates that you could work with based off of Sagittarius. So stones like citrine, sodalite, amethyst, labradorite. You could grab something like obsidian, more for that protection side or the grounding side as well. Lapis lazuli, I think, will offer Sagittarius. Those could be really great. If you had a smattering of them, maybe grab a handful and just make sure you have shungite at the center of your crystal grid to amplify the work that you're doing.
I know. I feel like we need to get back into our crystal grid building practices. I feel like we don't have enough of them around the house right now. And
I don't
and I
really
did
know
want
if
to say,
that's possible. I mean, we have crystals
I mean, we
everywhere.
have crystals everywhere, but I mean like arranging them in deliberate grids, you know.
Oh,
I mean,
sure, sure,
we have
sure, sure.
organized piles and we have decoration and such, but just more intentional grid setting, right?
Yeah, we'll have an upcoming ritual around grid setting then. That'll be a good
Yeah.
plan.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Absolutely. All right. And I love this, Polly saying, got my pen out, taking notes. I love it. I love it. All right. I think that about covers our crystal spotlight. Definitely let us know if you're working with Shungite with this full moon, if you're working with another crystal. Of course, we always say go with your intuition. If you're drawn somewhere else or if another stone is calling to you, work with that. Definitely a personal choice and personal energy there. But I think at this point, Corbin, you up? You ready for some astrology talk?
Astrology, yeah. Pull up the
All right.
wheel.
Absolutely. I'm going to. Oh, it won't let me swap us. That's okay.
And while Jake's pulling up the wheel, if you haven't looked at your chart yet and found out where you have Sagittarius, what house that's in, we're definitely going to be talking about that a bit here. You might also want to take some time to find where your Cancer house is. That would be a big part of our conversation as well.
Before we move on, Polly's asking, is Shungite easy to get? I don't have any. I'm in Scotland. It's certainly something you can get online. I would say make sure your source is reputable. Make sure you're going with, because there is a lot of imitation Shungite. It's a pretty
Mhm.
specific stone and properties. And so you want to make sure you're getting good quality. Like I said, Ascension Organites, which I'll try to find that while Corbin's talking. I'll pop Carla's website up on the chat. Because she's definitely great. I trust her. And there are definitely other vendors as well that you can find online. But I'll pop her in the chat for you too. All right, Corbin, back to you. Back to you.
It's just making me think of my failed crystal purchases in the last few weeks. So yeah, do be careful about where you grab stuff from. All right, cool. So we're gearing up here for the Sagittarius full moon. That's coming up next week. Here in the States, that'll be on Wednesday for anyone stateside, very early in the morning. Inside of the chart, this would be, or inside of the zodiacal wheel, this would be at 20 degrees of Sagittarius. So just towards the third decan here of Sag, getting towards the end. And when the sun is in Sag when the sun is in Gemini and the moon is in Sagittarius, we really see this polarity and duality between these two signs highlighted. These two are a little bit opposites in the way that Gemini is Mercury ruled and Sagittarius is Jupiter ruled. So the ways that they go about processing information, the ways that they go about communicating, the ways that they relate with overall existence in general kind of stem from different foundations. It can be the idea of facts and details versus a bigger picture, or the greater wisdom, the cosmic wisdom, or of the Jupiterian side, the facts and details being more of the mercurial side. If we think about locations, I think about the coffee shop being a very Gemini place, whereas a church could be a very Sagittarian place. It's really the duality between mind and spirit that we're talking about here when we're comparing the ways that Mercury and Jupiter relate. As I mentioned earlier, we have this archetype of the archer. And I just love this idea because the arrow that the archer has, like I said earlier, is kind of pointed above towards the light, towards the goal, towards the cosmic truth, towards the divine. Sagittarius is a very kind of like religious place. And, there is also inside of Sagittarius, inside of our galaxy, we have our galactic center, which we find at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. Physically, this is a supermassive black hole. What could it actually be? A gateway to other galaxies or dimensions. I'm not exactly sure. It's definitely a highly spiritual place. And Sagittarius is definitely one of the signs where we go beyond the mundane, and through experience, we get to understand and know more and have a greater kind of wisdom. And that's kind of what Jupiter is all about. Jupiter, one of my favorite archetypes that goes along with Jupiter is that of like the guru or the philosopher. So folks who really like to think about the bigger things in life. And I guess I have a big propensity for this because I'm getting lit up by talking about it. But Jupiter can also be seen as, your support group, your benefactors, the folks who help you get the job done. It's known as the greater benefic, and it really is one of the more beautiful energies that is inside of the planets. We spent the last few moons talking about Mars and talking about some more difficult energy, and Jupiter's really lining up for a bright spot in the astrology here right now. So at the time of this full moon, Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, will have just entered the sign of Cancer, which is its place of exaltation. So it rules Sagittarius, but it does very, very well inside of Cancer and is seen as a secondary ruler of the sign of Cancer. So here we say that it's exalted. This gives Jupiter all of the tools and resources to grant all of the wishes, to share all of the cosmic wisdom, and to fill all of our cups with abundance. This is a really significant moment in the astrology of this year. Jupiter has been in Gemini for the last year, since June of 2024. And Jupiter does not do very well in Gemini. We've all had to deal with some of the challenges that have come from having Jupiter in Gemini. So this new moon where Jupiter has just entered Cancer really emphasizes a shift and a change of energy. This initiation of 2025 and 2026 continues to move forward. And Jupiter is here to really help us and assist us inside of that. When Jupiter was in Gemini, though, for the last year, and maybe you can reflect on it and see how you might have lived it, but boy, oh boy, information overload has just been a little bit out of control. I like to think that Jupiter in Gemini was kind of like late night drunkenly made plans where like, oh, we're going to go grab brunch tomorrow. And then nobody wakes up and does that. Like it doesn't come to fruition. Or sometimes people talk about like high ideas where you just come up with this idea, but it doesn't see it the next day. There's been a lot going on in the mental realm that hasn't had a lot to anchor into the physical world to make that manifest as Jupiter was in Gemini. And I just think here, as we shift into Cancer with Jupiter entering Cancer, on just a couple days from today as we're talking about this. That will be on June 9th. I think as Jupiter enters Cancer, a new story begins to unfold inside of Cancer, the sign that represents the womb of manifestation, the creation of our world, the waters where we kind of come from. As I've been learning more about ancient astrology, there was a teaching tool that was used in the Hellenistic tradition called the Thema Mundi, and it's the birth chart of the cosmos, actually. So it's a chart for when our universe was born. And in that chart, Cancer is the rising sign, which represents this idea that we come from this cosmic womb of the universe, that we were born through Cancer. Like that's how the universe came to be. And I just think that that's really beautiful. So Jupiter entering Cancer can help to connect us with that wisdom of the divine, with the nurturing and healing capabilities, and can really help to kind of clear up that fog and calm down some of the mental overload that we felt when Jupiter was in Gemini. I even think further back to Jupiter in Taurus, though, because that was like a really nice time 2 years ago, from May of 23 to June of 24. There was a lot that happened during that period where I feel like everyone got into, well, I live in the city. A lot of folks got into urban gardening during that time. People were trying to grow as much food as possible, like more than just tomatoes, but it seemed like everyone had a green thumb that year. I remember that there was a lot of talk about inflated prices. Food prices were kind of skyrocketing at that time. People were doing like this was the first time that egg prices went up, and there was all talk about urban chickens and stuff like that. So Jupiter, you totally can see the shifts and the change with it changing sign every year. You can definitely notice how it influences your life. It's not quite as fast moving like the moon, where you can kind of notice it move more quickly. But it's all to say that this moon, really in a celebratory kind of way, um, ushers in that beginning with Jupiter in Cancer, which can be a great asset. Like I said, with our 2026 initiation, all of the outer planets are changing sign. A new era is beginning, a new chapter starting for all of us as individuals, but also collectively. And what's even more beautiful about this lunar cycle, and with Jupiter and the moon, they're in this technical aspect called, well, it's not an aspect, but they have a mutual reception going on right now. And that occurs when two planets are in signs that are hosted by each other, meaning Jupiter is in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, and the moon is in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. So there is this like extra affinity going on right now between the two, really plussing both of them up. And that's why I was saying, as Jake was pulling this up, look to Cancer in your chart and look to Sagittarius in your chart. There's a way that harmonizing those two areas is really a part of what we're being asked to go through at this time. So finding where those two areas are in your chart and reflecting on how the nurturing that can go into Cancer can support the dreams and the moving forward that the Sagittarius energy is calling for as well. So other than that, what else is going on with Jupiter right now? Again, at the early degrees of Cancer, Mercury has just entered Cancer as well. So back to this idea of what's going on with our minds and calming that down and getting that into a more grounded place. Mercury changing signs here is just another emphasis that we do need to do a little bit of slowing down, a little bit more caution around our communication, a little bit more attentiveness to what we're doing. It's really a clear shift in mindset and mental processing, and kind of how we're supporting ourselves over the next few weeks. But the biggest thing that I really notice right now with this lunation cycle that Jupiter is experiencing, being the ruler of this moon, is the squares that are coming from the planets that are in the early degrees of Aries. So in our cardinal signs, Aries and Cancer, we do have some squares going on from Saturn and Neptune in Aries are sending squares to both Jupiter and Mercury at the beginning degrees of Cancer. So if you have any sort of points or planets or positions at the beginning degrees of any of the cardinal signs, there's definitely a bit of an energy here for you. And I'd like you to listen closely to this one. So the Jupiter Saturn cycle is really what we're, I'm going to take Neptune out. I'm going to take Mercury out. We're just going to talk about Saturn, the old world, and Jupiter, the new world, essentially. And if anyone remembers back to 2020, to December of 2020, there was a really big, fun pop moment in astrology. Lots of headlines around this one. It was called the Great Conjunction of 2020, or the Christmas star, I think some people were calling it back then. And that was Jupiter and Saturn coming together at 0 degrees of Aquarius. A lot of people were calling this, the beginning of the age of Aquarius. There was a lot of talk about, here we go, the age of Aquarius, or at least people saying that it was one of the forerunning events to the age of Aquarius before Pluto actually came in. But back in December 2020, these two planets came together at 0 Aquarius. and they, started a new part of their synodic cycle. And when these two planets come together, um, you know, it really marks a new part of our life that kind of begins to gestate and come into experience. There's this challenge between the old and the new, and the rules and the structures that create our society. And ever since then, you've been going on your Aquarian mission. You've been acting out your karmic role inside of this new age. It's whatever newness has been coming up for you. And this has been going on for a while. When people kind of talk about, this new era, this didn't just happen in 2025. There's a lot about this lunar cycle that's asking us to reflect back to the end of 2020, to the beginning of 2021, and think about what has passed since those two started together in Aquarius. And now they are forming what's called their opening square in their new cycle around the zodiac together. When planets are at their first or opening square, this is generally a time of challenges, tests, obstacles, something that needs to be worked through. With Saturn in the more dominant position here, there's a little bit of an ask to narrow our focus, to get more serious about the important pieces, or to maybe realize that we aren't as far along in the journey as we thought we were. And it's an energy that can compel you to kind of kick yourself in the butt to get going, maybe adjust some priorities a little bit here. But I think it's really important to think back to 2020, the end of it, and what was kind of burgeoning for you now. I know a lot of us inside of this group have kind of gone through a giant spiritual transformation. Where it has spirit been pointing you would be kind of like a great thing to be thinking about. Like, Gemini, where the sun is, right? That's about dabbling. And Sagittarius is more of like, what's the law inside of your heart? And so that's really being called into question here. There's also this tension because of Aries and Cancer. There's this tension here asking us to step out of our comfort zones, to embrace newness, maybe to embrace something that might be uncomfortable at first. But it's through working through that discomfort that we will grow, Jupiter, that we will expand. And it really will align you more with that cosmic wisdom of Sagittarius that we were talking about. Okay, but also like back to 2020 and like where you are now and a full moon, celebrate. Don't get too mired in the mental. This is a huge moment when I realized, oh man, back to December 2020. I mean, personally for me, there's so much for me to be proud of. And I know that, this newer journey for me is still unfolding, as it is for many of us. But in this greater context of what is this newer era for you, I think that there's a lot that we can all individually look at and say, wow, yeah, I've really changed in the last 5 years here. And Sagittarius would really love you to toot your own horn, to whoop it up and have a good time. Back to the chart, Venus has also just entered Taurus for this lunar cycle too. So it's just an even more, nice piece of astrology here. Both of our benefic planets are kind of in places of rulership. Venus would want you to have a party too. Venus would want you to kind of whoop it up for yourself, and not push yourself. And I think that's a great message for what's going on right now. There's so much initiation, there's so much stepping out and trying the new. It is really important to relax, to not push yourself too hard, to ground, to enjoy. We're going to continue to have strong Aries energy moving us forward for quite some time now. Saturn's going to be there for the next 3 years. So there's a little bit here that's asking us to, yes, we might all be birthing something new, but remember to stop and breathe for a moment. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars runs out of energy really fast. You know, he does a whole bunch of things, but then he needs to take a break or he needs to take a nap to recuperate the energy to then go do a bunch of stuff. And this is the reminder to, you know, recuperate and find your energy again. Just a couple more pieces here because this is just an exciting moon. The moon itself is square the lunar nodes, so we're halfway through eclipse season, which is really exciting. But it's also that reminder that like all of that's still in play. When we see squares to the nodes there, and especially as the nodes right now, the north node is in Pisces. So a few questions that you might want to be reflecting on of, you know, how has spirit called you to serve? How can compassion and empathy be more central to what you're doing? How can creativity and going outside of the lines benefit me in my newest phase? You know, there's just a way that bringing in some of the more emotional, some of the more otherworldly elements are really what we're being called to do, especially with like a double whammy between Sag and Pisces. It's really about giving it up to spirit at this moment in time. There's also a really nice grand fire trine inside of this between the moon and Mars and Chiron, all in fire signs. A lot of healing opportunity and potential here, but also just a really another nice moment where spirit is giving a green light and telling you to move forward. In the next couple of weeks before we meet for the Cancer new moon, which is really nice because it's right on top of Jupiter that we've been talking so much about today. We will have a little bit of a spicy moment with a square between Uranus in the late degrees of Taurus and Mars in Leo. I don't see that as too big, but it is definitely a moment where we might have a flashy headline or two about something going on. But yeah, more so what I really want to mention as I'm wrapping it up here is that between now and that Cancer new moon in a couple weeks, the moon itself will transit over all of these outer planets that have just changed signs. So it'll go over Pluto, and then it'll go over Saturn and Neptune, and it'll make it all the way through. I guess Uranus hasn't actually changed yet, but it'll be really interesting and a really potent time over the next 2 weeks to be checking in with yourself on your 2025, 2026 initiation and how all these shifts have started to, you know, affect you personally. You really have a really strong window in the next 2 weeks to do some reflection on that for yourself, to dig into these things a little bit deeper. And that's about it for the Sagi moon.
Wonderful. Excuse me. Wonderful. We got quite a bit of astrology chat in the chat. Polly saying moon in Cancer, 7 degrees for me.
Oh,
so.
awesome. Yeah, very potent at this time for sure. Gotta love that. But as Jupiter comes over your moon, what beautiful abundance for your physical world could be coming in. But also depending on the house sign as well, it's definitely good energy for relationships in general, especially any sort of ways in which you might nurture or care for others, or even how you may care for yourself too.
Mm-hmm. Brett Merritt
saying, Brett Merritt's Cancer. Yeah, I'm a Cancer moon as well, and Polly, I'm a Cancer moon as well too. We're highly intuitive folks. Cancers, I really love the crab archetype. They're fun folks. Brett Merritt, you have such a sweet, tender heart that's very Cancerian.
Well, thank you so much, Corbin. There was a lot to digest there. I'm sure you guys want to go back and rewatch that a few times as we lead up to the full moon here. And of course, there is also your individual chart and how things show up for you, because a lot of this collective energy, it's going to express itself in your individual chart in your individual way. So definitely check out your chart if you have not already, to see where this is activating for you. All right. Let's see. I'm going to switch these slides here because we have a little ritual.
Ritual now.
Quickly before we dive into our activation for today, which is all about releasing and burning away your limiting beliefs and celebrating that release, we have this special Sagittarius full moon flame of truth ritual. That's what we're calling it. And as we've talked about before on other shows, we really like to bring in the elements when we're working with the moons. Bring in water when it's a watery moon, bring in the air when it's an air moon. And of course, Sagittarius is fire. So we're bringing in fire here. And we kept this pretty simple for you guys, just a few steps here that are hopefully easy to follow. And I'll make sure to put these in the comments below, and I'll put those timestamps in as well, so you guys can come back and review this ritual section if you need to before doing it. But first and foremost, the point of this is releasing, and we will get into that in a moment. But step one is creating your altar, whether that is your Sagittarius themed altar, full moon items, bringing in things that make you think of the Sagittarius energy. So things like a candle to light, especially if you want to bring in the colors of red, gold, orange, blue. Any of those colors are going to work with the Sagittarius energies. And of course, candles are lit, so it's the fire element. Bring in your crystals, whether that be the Sagittarius crystals we shared or the Shungite. And adding in different symbols or different items that are going to bring in this energy too. So things like arrows or feathers, globe, compass, book. These are all suggestive of those Sagittarius themes, the Sagittarius archetype.
I love that we wrote down arrows, and it's like, yeah, if you just have like an arrow
An arrow.
laying around your
Yeah. I mean,
garage.
some people do,
Well,
right?
maybe, yeah, but
Archers.
maybe or like a picture from a vacation that you took to somewhere that
Right.
is far away from home. That maybe would be an easy one for folks.
I mean, we live in Minnesota, so there is a pretty big hunting culture here. I feel like we have a disproportionate amount of bows probably in this
Sure.
state
Yeah,
than
yeah.
other places. But anyway, optional add-ins, and this will work into the fifth step with the the fire offering, sorry. But bringing in some herbs to burn, like bay leaf, cinnamon, rosemary. Those are some that are Sagittarian in nature. And we'll get into that step 5 in a moment. Wanted to say hello to Lisa in the chat.
Lisa.
Great to
Hey,
see
Lisa.
you. And hello to your mom as well. So glad to see she's home. And thanks for watching the replay. Sending you love. All right. Oh, and goodbye to Stephanie. Thanks for popping in. And we'll see you in the
Good to see
replay.
you.
So great to see you as well. All right. So the other addition that I wanted to add to, and this is of course not applicable to everyone, but if you've got a campfire or you have a fireplace, if you got an outdoor fire pit, that's a great place to work with this ritual, because that's of course like a fire aspect, but fireplace, fire pit, all of that's very communal as well. So bringing in that community piece, that support piece. And so I definitely recommend using that if you've got access. You want to share step 2, Corbin?
Yeah, so the main part of the ritual here, what we call step 2, is our full moon truth release. So you'll want to grab a couple pieces of paper. For step 2 here, you'll just utilize that first piece of paper. And what you're going to do is you're going to write down some of those limiting beliefs, fears, outdated stories, maybe a version of yourself that you've outgrown. These can, this will go along with the idea of releasing with the full moon. So certain, the idea of Sagittarius that I really love is how it can be optimistic. It can look on the brighter side of things. And what we're going to be doing in part 2 will be kind of anchoring that in. But this first step here is where we're releasing the old. So again, if it's, kind of how I used to be, or what you're wanting to let go of, that would really be what you're going to write down here on your piece of paper. It could be an outdated belief, something that just doesn't work in your energy field anymore. So we'll put that on the piece of paper here. It can be a couple things, as many as you want. It could be a few. And we're going to go ahead and burn it. Make sure that, I don't know, a window open. Maybe you have a nice pot to put this in. Keep your animals away. Be safe. Smokey says be safe.
Which is why an outdoor fire pit is the best. If you have access to that, burn it outside. But otherwise, have a glass of water nearby so you can be safe about it. But
And once you have, kind of released that and, burned that, then you can move into step 3, which we're calling reframing your new truth. So as that's burning and you've let that go, you can grab your next sheet of paper and then you can reframe or shift it to a more kind of optimistic place. So this can be more of an empowering belief, or a bigger, wider, higher perspective, to kind of replace that which you just discarded. So you definitely want to focus on keeping it on optimistic. If you had a negative for one thing, maybe you're writing the opposite side of that on your second sheet of paper.
Definitely use your own words and write from your heart, because it's really about what works for you, what expresses your desires and your energies as best as possible. So we want to leave it nice and open for you guys, and it's really about that reframe, that optimism, that Sagittarian, like looking at the bright side of it. And then for our 4th step, this is where we're working in our Shungite. And of course, if you don't have a piece of Shungite, we have a couple alternatives to work with as well. But what we're doing here is, like we said, Shungite is an excellent amplifier of your energies. And so holding your crystal, holding your Shungite, and focusing on that grounding, grounding your intentions in, grounding them down, as well as amplifying your intentions. And so just focusing on that, focusing on the optimistic side of things. You don't want to focus on the limiting beliefs you let go. You already burned those away. It's really focusing in on that positive and using that crystal to help amplify. So if you don't, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, there's always that like negative, maybe this will happen. Well, Sagittarius is like, well, maybe this will happen. Maybe it won't be so bad. That's kind of the energy and the vibe that you're wanting to bring in here.
If you don't have Shungite, some options to work with instead, especially for this ritual, I was thinking that clear quartz would be a great one for amplification, and just kind of general boosting of your intentions there. You could work with the lapis lazuli. That's a great one for truth and wisdom, really working in that kind of truth side of the crystal and of the ritual. Or obsidian would be another one that I would suggest working with for that grounding aspect. And of course, pick what resonates for you, or pick a few. Or if you're feeling called to a different crystal entirely, go with that. It's really about making this ritual yours and your own thing. So,
And
all
then
right.
you'll just probably want to close it all out with a little offering to the fire at the end. So whatever you had brought at the beginning, bay leaf, some herbs, whatever your special choice was here, a token of your gratitude. It's another big Sagittarius theme, gratitude. Be sure to energetically thank the fire as you kind of symbolically drop it in. Best magical traditions would say that you announce what it is that you're putting in and the intention and why you're giving it to the fire. And that's really just a great way to kind of close this one out.
Yeah, I'm sure many of you saw the full hypnosis session that I did with Sol Rita recently. But one of the pieces of information that came through was the ways that we are reconnecting to the elementals, and we're reconnecting to the dragons and the fairies, and we're beginning to shift into more of a resonance for connection, for communication. And I was just feeling like this would be a great way to start honoring them in different ways, and especially since we're using fire and we're leaning on it for support in this ritual, a great way to thank them.
All right. I think we're ready to get into our meditation activation.
I think we are as well. I think we are. All right. So I will let you guys take a moment here to settle into a comfortable position. And I'm going to pull Corbin down here and just settling into a nice seated position, or lying down if you'd rather, whatever feels most comfortable to you as we get into this activation, this guided meditation today. And as you're settling into a comfortable spot, just relaxing into the moment and starting to tune into your breath, feeling your eyes getting heavy, very relaxed, and feeling your breathing slowing down, and sinking into this moment, into the present here and now. Just taking a moment to think about all the energies of this Sagittarius full moon, particularly around your beliefs, and reflecting if there's any limiting beliefs that have been coming up for you, maybe around abundance or self-worth, maybe around your ability to be seen in the world or to speak your truth. It's whatever has come up for you, whatever's coming to mind. Without judgment, just thinking about this. Now starting to deepen your breath, imagining a white light up above your crown, right up at the top of your head. A white light shining and shimmering bright right up there above your crown. Now imagining that white light moving down your body, down over your forehead and your face, relaxing all of those muscles in your forehead, around your eyes, in your jaw. Just letting that white light soothe and relax all your muscles, moving down into your neck, your shoulders. Seeing that white light moving down your arms, down to your hands and out your fingers, relaxing as it goes. Now seeing that white light moving down your chest and your back, moving down the front and sides and back of your body, just relaxing all of those muscles. And the white light moving down into your hips and your legs, moving down past your knees, your calves, your ankles, and all the way out your toes. Feeling any residual tension, any tightness, just flowing right out. And so good. And just feeling so relaxed, so peaceful. Just imagine yourself walking along the shore of a lake in the evening. Just picturing that beautiful scene, that lake, and taking in the beautiful sunset from across the water. appreciating the gorgeous colors reflecting off of the water, the oranges, the yellows, those reds, maybe pink or even purple. Just soaking in that beauty as the sun slowly sets. Noticing the gentle bird calls, the soft sound of the waves lapping against the shore. The water's so calm, so peaceful, and so quiet here. And as you walk along the shore, just feeling a soft breeze, it's just the perfect temperature. You feel so comfortable as you walk along the path beside this serene lake. And now turning to your other side, you notice tall trees standing in the golden light of the setting sun. Tall, majestic pines, sturdy oak, maple trees, maybe some slender birch trees, their leaves rustling in the warm breeze. Just taking in the beauty of this nature, this serene scene. And as you continue down the path, the sun begins to set, and fireflies start to glimmer here and there among the trees and out across the water. And as the light fades, small lanterns hanging at regular intervals along the path activate to illuminate your way as you continue along. And in that warm lantern light, you notice that the path turns and curves away from the lake just ahead of you. And you continue on, and as you round the bend, you see up ahead a meadow. A meadow just the right size for a cozy fire pit, ringed by large, sturdy stones, the fire safely contained. And as you get closer to the fire, you see blankets and pillows set up around the crackling fire. Cozy spots nestled in. You hear the hiss and the pop of the logs, the soft crackle of the fire. It's such a comfortable, cozy. And as you approach, pick a spot out for yourself, whichever looks most comfortable, and settle in. And as you take your seat, you feel that warmth on your face from the fire, warming your face and your hands as the night cools down with the setting sun. And relaxing here by the fire, you begin to think about those beliefs, thinking about how you've limited yourself in the past and how you know there's so much more for you. You are ready to let go of these limiting beliefs, these old ways of being, and you're ready to expand into your highest potential. And as you think on these things, you feel a sense of anticipation because you know that you don't have to do this work alone. You have so much support in your journey. There are many who would like to assist you in releasing what no longer serves you. You've invited some very special guests, and they'll be arriving soon to support you in this release, as well as to celebrate your transformation. Now it's up to you who you chose to invite. You may have chosen to invite your guides, maybe the angels. Perhaps you felt that your ancestors could help you best. Or maybe your higher self. Could be that you chose to invite your galactic star family. Maybe you invited all of them. You know that there's plenty of room at this campfire for all who are here for your best and highest good. Now you hear someone approaching, and your guests begin to arrive and pick their spots around the campfire. Just take a look around. Notice who is here. Who has arrived to support you? What do they look like? Just looking around the fire, taking it all in, feeling the love and support from everyone you invited, everyone who has come to support you in this important work. All right. Everyone has arrived now, and you're ready to begin. So take one last moment now to think about it, whatever it is that you're ready to release. Maybe it's your beliefs around abundance. Maybe it's your beliefs around self-worth or love. Maybe it's something else. Whatever it is that you are ready to let go of. All right. You are handed a piece of paper and a pen. And just imagine yourself now writing down what it is that you're releasing. Writing down on that paper what you're ready to burn away. Good. Now that you've finished writing, take that paper in your hands, holding it one last time, for one last moment. And now throwing it into the fire in front of you, maybe crumpling it up, maybe placing it in amongst the logs. Put it right in the flames and watch as the paper ignites. The fire consumes it quickly, and in a moment, it's burned away. And as that paper burned away, you felt a slight warmth within you as you let go. Just a gentle heat, a slight tingle, as this old paradigm, this outdated programming was burned away. Taking a deep breath in and releasing with a sigh, feeling that sense of relief. And it's quiet. There's not a sound but the crackle of the fire and the hum of the insects in the distance. And out of the stillness, everyone around you, all of your guides, ancestors, star family, your higher self, everyone erupts into cheers, clapping for you, celebrating this release, this transformation. Hearing their claps, feeling the love and the joy, the happiness at this transformation that you've chosen to do, you've chosen to embark upon. Soaking in all that wonderful feeling as everyone celebrates and congratulates you. Surrounded by that love and that support. Taking a moment now to just notice how you feel. Wonderful. Now, full of gratitude, you stand up, taking one last look around the fire. All these beautiful souls come to support you. Now turning away from the fire, making your way back along the path, turning around one last time to wave goodbye, feeling that love so strong. Walking back along the path, back and back along the path, returning to the present, bringing with you all of those positive feelings, that love and support. Coming back now to the here and now as I count from 5 to 1. Getting ready now. Coming back 5 and 4. Returning, starting to wiggle your toes and your fingers. 3, feeling your breath returning to normal. Maybe taking a nice long stretch. Getting everything moving again. And 2 and 1. Opening your eyes when you're ready. Back here in the present. Feeling wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Jake. That was so wonderful.
I could feel all the love from everyone. It was really, I mean, it was really special for me. I could feel it. I could feel it coming through. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining for that activation. Let us know in the chat or down in the comments what went on for you, how that experience was, what you felt, what you saw. Definitely love to hear your experiences. And the more we share with each other, I think it's just always great to share that information. Thank you, Emma. Beautiful. I will re-listen to the meditation for sure. Have a lovely full moon on the 11th. Yes, same to you, Emma. And yes, definitely feel free to listen back. I'll have it time-stamped when you have the time to really give it your focus. Mm-hmm. And thank you so much, Polly. Awesome info, dudes. I do appreciate that. And yes, as Corbin said, thank you all for celebrating with us. It really has been wonderful. And we love doing these shows. We love spending some time with you guys. And we love sharing the energy, sharing the info that we've got. Mm-hmm. Ooh, Polly said that was awesome. Thank you. Absolutely. Oh, you want an oracle card, Emma? Okay, we'll see. We'll see. What do I got? Do you have any, Corbin? Do you want to pull one?
I only have dice with me.
Okay. I have some decks behind me. I put that in before. What is that? I'm going to grab... Sorry, guys. I have limited decks here. I did want to say Beth said I was on Presky Isle. Presky Isle? Is that how you pronounce that? I might not be pronouncing that correctly. But I hope it's a beautiful place. And Britt Merritt saying, the first I saw was a little fairy lying on my left hand. Oh, I love that. So cute. The elemental's really coming through. All right, I decided to grab, this is one of Doreen Virtue's, it's the Life Purpose Oracle deck. So let's see what message wants to come through for the collective today, watching this live or on replay. What is that message? Thank you. What a perfect card. What a perfect card. Here. All right, we've got Heart's Desire. Heart's Desire there. It says the angels are supporting, guiding, and protecting you as your dreams become a reality. What a perfect card right after that activation, right? Just doubling down on that support that you guys have got, and especially highlighting the angels and the angelic beings, which I definitely was feeling that very high vibration, very light, very positive, loving vibes during that meditation for sure. I don't know. Let me know if you guys felt that too, if you felt the angels' presence. But yeah, what a beautiful confirmation. And I think also highlighting that importance of the heart too. And when you're coming from the heart, you've got that support, not only like energetically in an alignment sense, but you're also working in a way that the universe is really keen to support you in. Did you have one, Corbin?
Well, the dice that I rolled, I had Taurus and I had Venus, which is cool because Venus is just entering Taurus for this. And then I also had the 7th house. So definitely perhaps maybe looking at everything that we said first and thinking about the context of that inside of relationships that you have going on, whether that be, at work or inside of the family. The 7th house is about how we connect and interact with others. But, back to maybe some of the stuff that was inside of your card, there's a little bit of that Venus and Taurus, that some of those blessings. And we talked about that even earlier about how both of the benefics right now are really here to support us through some of these challenging times. So it really does feel like we have some cosmic help behind us.
Yeah, 100%. And that was really what I was feeling when I wrote that meditation, was feeling that highlighted. I just have to pull up Brimer's comment. I hope you're feeling good now. I hope that's settled down. I was coughing most of the time and almost had to vomit. So much happened. Wow. Yeah, absolutely let it out. And especially with the coughing and with that anxious feeling or the vomit, I mean, that feels like very much something needs either to be released, or it's about that speaking your truth too, and probably both, right? So definitely, I can't remember where I saw this. It was probably on Instagram, but someone was talking about that idea that when your body vomits, don't try to fight it necessarily, because when your body is forced to that point, it's like got to get something out, whether that be a physical thing or an energetic thing. And I certainly have noticed that in my own life. When I find myself vomiting, it's usually either excess energy that I need to release, or some bad vibes that need to go, or a physical thing that I ate that I should not have eaten.
And Sagittarius would just point to the clear reminder that we have to put our faith in something higher, that there was a greater purpose for that, and just putting your trust in something larger.
Absolutely. And I love this. Polly saying, yay, talk to them every day, the angels. Confirmation, yep, they were at my campfire. Absolutely. Beautiful. I love that. All right. Let's see. So definitely, if you're watching this on replay, let us know down in the comments what you were releasing, what came up for you in that activation. Or if you do the ritual, please share as well how that goes for you, and what comes up for you in that process. And Emma, know that you did the last ritual with your girls, and definitely appreciate when you guys share what comes through for you, because we have a lot of fun coming up with these and like to see it in action. All right, Corbin, any last thoughts, comments, concerns, things you want to share?
No, but I look forward to coming back in 2 Fridays for the Cancer new moon. Yeah, Cancer new moon.
Cancer new moon coming up. that would be wonderful as well. All right, guys, before we let you go, reminder, of course, head on over to my website for bookings. Definitely make sure you check out my bookings page and grab your ticket for the upcoming group workshop in just a few weeks. This is going to be super fun. And especially if you haven't had a session before, if you're interested in that idea of slipping through time and how that can help you, the workshops are an excellent place to start. They are beginner friendly. I give you lots of tips and tricks. It's very low stakes and a fun, great environment to dip your toes into the waters of this time travel mind therapy and how it can help you. So definitely come join us. It's going to be a great time. And it's just $22. Less money than it takes to go to the movies these days, right? Join me next week as well for my show on finding your dream home. I'm going to be sharing personal experience as well as some client experience around how my techniques and the ways that I can work with you on a one-on-one basis can really help you find that next property and make it the smoothest journey and the smoothest move that you've ever had. So definitely join me next week. It's going to be a fun show. All right. And yes, Britt, we are grateful for you and so grateful for all of you who join us live and on replay. It really does mean the world. And we always enjoy these shows and bringing this info to you and spending this time together. If there's anything that you want us to talk about in the next one, or if there's anything that comes up for you that you feel we didn't mention, let us know in the comments. We always love that feedback too. And we're sending you guys all the love. All right. Happy full moon. And we'll see you guys in a few weeks.
Bye.
All right. Bye.